All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I'm istherenoonelse, and in today's video, we are going to talk about radiating regeneration and cross healing. I realized on Monday when I read the patch notes and I was streaming and talking about the overall changes, a lot has happened in the last 4 weeks. If you guys have been watching my videos, you know that some stuff has been changed drastically, some stuff has been reverted drastically, some stuff has been added. Lots and lots of big changes. It's tough for me to quantify exactly what everything is going to be into one video, even for a guy that reads the patch notes as judiciously or as studious. I don't care. That's not a word. But somebody that really pays attention to the patch notes, I'm having a hard time tracking where everything is and where everything's going to be. And so we're going to do isolated videos talking about different big changes, whether they're good or they're bad, whatever, just big changes that are coming to PvP. And we're going to talk about it. And then I'm going to provide my opinion. And then that's where we have a conversation. You provide your opinion as well. And yeah, that's what these videos are going to be. So you guys have a better outline overall of what the patch is, what it's going to be. And if you want to play, or if you want to play something else, you'll have your opinion. So yeah, let's talk about regeneration. So radiating and rapid regeneration are getting a substantial adjustment this next patch. Regeneration and its morphs are getting reduced in healing by 40% across the board. So rapid and radiating are getting adjusted by 40%. Rapid regeneration is also getting an adjustment to where when you're below 50% health, you do 100%. You can do up to 50% more healing with rapid regeneration when your health drops lower. So it's a more of an execute phase, which seems very strong to me. But that's only one heal, whereas radiating regeneration is 3 heals. So pretty strong overall. Wanted to provide my thoughts on this, and yeah. Overall, a 40% nerf to regeneration, in my opinion, makes a lot of sense, especially radiating regeneration. I thought it was a substantial adjustment, and I think it's good for the game, and I'm going to talk about that in this video. But the Cliff's notes of my thoughts are, it's a good adjustment. It doesn't solve cross healing. And so we'll talk about both those things. So the first thing, why is it good? Why do I think it's good for the game? Well, currently, in the current state of the game with hybridization changes and everything, most classes do better with a resto back bar, whether it's solo, duo, small group, large group, whatever. Like resto back bar is best in slot for survival. It's really not close. Like unless you're a necromancer and you're using intensive mender and mortal coil and you already have crazy class heals, that's like the only class I can really think of where you're better off with sword and board back bar compared to running radiating regeneration and a resto staff back bar. Radiating regeneration provides so much survivability to a 2 or 3 man group. You see it all the time. There's a reason everybody's running around with the resto staff, because it is effective. I talked about this a few patches ago. Talked about how everybody's going to run it, and lo and behold, everybody's running it. And so it was clear. It was clear to see. And so my thoughts are, there's multiple forms of survival in this game. Blocking, dodging, mitigating, healing. Like those are the big ones, right? So you dodge incoming attacks, you block incoming attacks, you heal, or you mitigate through resistances, percent mitigation, like on death or major protection, whatever. Like those are all the different ways of survival. Just because you reduce radiating regeneration doesn't mean there's not other sources of survival. People will find other ways to build. I just personally think that when one weapon becomes best in slot for literally every class in the game across the board in every PvP environment, that's when you have imbalance. That's when you have issues with build diversity and things, and an adjustment's needed. And so radiating regeneration in that regard, getting those, and rapid regeneration, getting those adjustments makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense to not have it be the best survival weapon across the board. Now, with all that being said, it's still going to be best in slot for larger groups. Once you get, and like not even larger groups, like 3, 4, 5 plus groups, like you're still better off, in my opinion, with a resto staff than with a sword and board, because stacking radiating regeneration is still going to be more powerful than just about anything else you're going to do. Like it still is. Like even though you took a 40% nerf, and that is a substantial nerf, it's still going to be a more powerful form of survival than anything else. And so you're still going to see groups running radiating and rapid regeneration for that reason. And so I think it, like I said, I think it's a good overall change, but it doesn't, the biggest problem is how skills, sets, stuff like this always go to benefit larger groups. And you have this double dipping in effect, right? Like, I'm not saying running in a large group is bad and you're a bad player or anything like that. I've never said anything like that. Like, I like to small scale. If I want to fight outnumbered, people have to run in larger groups. It would be silly for me to get mad at larger groups. It doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't make any sense. They should exist. But when we talk about small scale versus large scale groups, there are some sets, some abilities, some skills that vastly get amplified more in those settings. And I'm not saying have a plague break style thing to where it impacts large groups and provides this stupid, like this ridiculous overpowered counter. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying apply a blanket adjustment to where you're only impacted so much regardless of group. And so I would put a cap on the amount of radiating regenerations you can get. Basically, each person can have 2 stacks of radiating regeneration on them at any time. If somebody else casts it, it doesn't go to that person because you can only have 2 stacks. So that means if you're in a 3-man group and you cast radiating and somebody else does, you get 2 stacks. If you're in a 20-man group, you know, you're in a 12-man ball group and you got 8 friends rolling nearby also running resto staffs in chat. Well, they're not in your group, but they're in your group. You still only get 2 stacks. And so you still have the benefit of more players, more ulti-gen, more group play, more group comp, better synergies, access to use more skills because you have more players, and you can still run things like harmony and stuff. You'll still be more effective than smaller groups because you have access to all these things. It's just capping the upside and effectiveness on specifically radiating regeneration. And so that's my opinion. So I do think it's a good change. I do think overall the 40% adjustment is good. I think utilizing other things besides just stacking crazy amounts of healing is good for like long-term build diversity in the game. I don't think resto staff should be the tankiest thing across all forms of PvP, but that's where it is. And I still think it's going to be that way, but this is a good step in the right direction. And so pretty big change, obviously. And I wanted to talk to you guys about this in this video, which is why we're having it. But yeah, this is going to be a very nice change. Stacking radiating regenerations won't be nearly as effective. Obviously, it'll still be more effective and you should do it, but it's a big change. And it's a big change we're talking about. And obviously, you know, I want to get your guys' opinion too. So do you agree with me? Do you agree with me on this? Or do you think stacking these things makes a lot of sense? I just, the last little thing I want to talk about is we see it happen all the time in this game, right? Where when Volendrung comes out, performance, even on PC and A, performance takes a huge dip when Volendrung comes out because everybody goes around and they know they can get AP with the hammer. Taking down keeps, cross healing, healing everybody up. It's hugely beneficial to go to the hammer and heal. And so you see it happen all the time, and you see performance dip because everybody travels to one place and you have large groups of players all in the same spot. Providing a blanket, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this, providing skills with caps like this would still make large groups the most powerful thing in the game, but it wouldn't incentivize everybody to run in large groups all the time. Does that make sense? You wouldn't feel like you're forced to run in large groups because you won't get as much healing. Like if Volendrung is out, yeah, you'll still stack, you'll still run and do these things, but in non-Volendrung situations, maybe you'll be like, hey, you know what? Maybe I need to go find my own fight for AP. Because everybody over here is stacking restos. I'm trying to stack restos, but it's not giving me AP. I should take my group and we should go somewhere else. And it would spread people out more. Like we saw it happen when cross healing was reduced. The devs came out and said we like the impact it had in Cyrodiil. For some reason they brought it back, but this is the same point of view. if you disincentivize and you don't make the stacking so ridiculously powerful in one specific group situation, what happens is people go find their own fights. People spread out. People have more enjoyable fights. They have more enjoyable fights instead of just 50v50s. If you like 50v50, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you see during the double AP event, that's all you run across. Like, unless you went in the sewers, that's all it was 50v50. And so, you know, maybe you want 50v10 sometimes. Maybe you want 50v20. Instead of having it just be big group versus big group, you get a wider diversity of players because everybody's spreading out, finding other fights, because frankly, stacking healing for AP doesn't work the way it used to. So that's my opinion. I'll talk to you guys about it, obviously, in the comment section. You guys can provide yours. Obviously, this is a more controversial topic because I'm a solo and small scale player, and I'm one of the few people, and this is a PvP channel, and the vast amount of people that probably watch my channel are not solo and small scale players. You're not. And so you're going to disagree with me, and that's fine. That's fine. That's why we're here to have this conversation. This isn't me saying, I'm going to say it again. This is the last time I'm going to say it. This isn't me saying nerf big groups to the ground. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I want you guys to be effective. I just think stacking of things like this is taking it a little too far. In the same way that Plague Break, in my opinion, also should not exist. Just because it hard counters like large groups, I think it's stupid. I really do. So I'm with you on some things. I'm against you on a couple other things, I suppose. And yeah, that's my opinion. And I'm going to stop talking here, and I want to hear yours. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.